Okay. Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello. How is everybody this morning or maybe afternoon? Depends on where you are. So happy to see you joining us live. And as you know, this is the Scientific Wellness Program brought to you by Jin-Xiong, your personalized nutrition solution. I'm your host, Dr. Sherry Jiang. And really glad that we are able to continue our discussion, which we started in August on cellular aging, which is a very important aspect of longevity and health span. And with today's guest, a world scientist, world-class expert on cellular aging, we're going to dive in and discuss a very important factor for your cellular aging. And let's dive in. If you have any questions, have any technical issues, please, as always, can put your questions and issues in the chat box, please. For those are unfamiliar with who I am, I'm the founder of Jin-Xiong platform. Spent about over a decade studying obesity genomics, metabolism, its connection and causality, all the way to our molecular and cellular and systemic biology using genomics, epigenomics technologies, and then beyond. Had a lot of fun creating the knowledge in this field, which is quickly evolving, a very exciting time, as you know. And then spent the last almost another decade preparing and building the platform that we're all enjoying today. Jin-Xiong is a personalized nutrition data information technology platform. We are a leading platform today with the largest deep consumer health database and use cases specifically around nutritional genomics technology. We are collaborating extensively in the ecosystem of new health. It's not a traditional sick care system, but really leveraging scientific evidence for your wellness. And thanks to all of you participating, engaging into this. It's over a year now. We started this webinar knowledge sharing platform and community over a year ago. And thanks to you, it's a highly successful program, and we'll continue to bring new information, knowledge, science, evidence, solution to this platform, to this community and forum, and inspire each other to continue to grow and be well. This thematic program that particularly we started earlier this year is very close to my heart. You know, using genomics and all these scientific tools, at the end of the day, we want to live a productive, long, healthy life. And as you know, in the past century, using, thanks to modern medicine, we have almost doubled the lifespan of American and globally population-wise, from just over 40 years to almost 80 years old long. Unfortunately, we still have a big challenge in front of all of us, is how can we live disease-free, especially towards the mature later stage where we have more disposable income, we are wiser, we have all the means to enjoy the world, but a lot of times health conditions come along as well. So how can we really tackle that such that we are disease-free for as long as we live, right? So that's what's really in a simple, very elegant way depicted in this picture we keep referring back to is how can we shorten the gap between the health span and the lifespan in the general population. And we're living in really exciting times, thanks to all the evolution and transformation, the possibilities that science and technology has evolved and given us. We now know there's 12 and it's still increasing categories of hallmarks at molecular, cellular, systemic levels in our bodies, in your bodies right now and for as long as we live. And these are the reasons we have wear and tear, so to speak, of our machinery. And now, because we know what's going on and still building that knowledge, we can actually tackle these factors or targets to potentially restore our longevity and youth. And we listed 12 of them this before, and we spent extensively discussion on the topic of such as mitochondrial dysfunction associated with your muscle loss. But today we want to introduce, well, actually it should be a term you heard over and over again, increasingly so in the market, in your life, as a potential longevity target called NAD. This factor is actually, there's an increasing amount of evidence showing it is a key to possibly tackle more than half of the 12 aging hallmarks categories that we have gained insights for. So let's dive into this key element. The full name is a nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. Say that 10 times, right? Or NAD. You probably heard this new supplements market. There's an IV NAD where you can inject that into your body. So there's a lot of hypes in the market. We, as the scientific knowledge base here, we want to dive into the core of the evidence of this enzyme, this coenzyme, and tell you a little bit why this is such an important factor that me personally believe in and use towards application of my longevity journey. And then we're going to hear from well-published, probably the expert in the field for NAD research today. So NAD is a coenzyme that catalyzes. You can think about it's the assistance to more than 500. Just today, we only know about 500. There might be more enzymatic reactions that really covers all aspects of our cellular energy metabolism. And unfortunately, naturally, NAD starts with very high level when we start as an infant and decline and sharply decline when we turn 30, which we will learn more from Dr. She, our guest speaker, and then continue to decline and then diminished as we get older. And let me change it. This is a busy slide. I want to be able to show you all the details here. Is it better? Okay, so what do we know, right? NAD is a super enzyme, coenzyme, essential for our energy metabolism at the cellular level and beyond. So we know it helps us to restore DNA damage, chromatin damage, cellular damage, systems damage. And then we also know, as I showed you in a cartoonistic evidence picture, that we know it declined gradually over time. And the potential, the NAD's potential as a therapeutic target is actually very high. We know at different levels or different at intercellular, intracellular blood levels, we could actually have different interventions to restore and increase NAD to the level which is optimal for our longevity and function. But there's a lot of gaps in the knowledge base. That's why there's a lot of research is still going on to fully understand what are the mechanisms regulating NAD plus levels, and specifically, if you want to intervene, what are the safe and effective methods to tackle NAD plus as a gateway to your longevity, and what are the known and unknown benefits of restoring NAD for long term. So there's a lot of questions, but we already know a lot of that. Because of that, and because I'm a scientist, I'm into this field. I want to live long and healthy. I wanted to test my intracellular NAD level, and I'm not satisfied with. There's a test in the market which gives me peripheral blood level, like a vitamin D level, but knowing all the nitty-gritty behind the mechanism of this molecule, I really want to get into the cellular level. Inside of the cells, how do I do for its quantity and quality? So I happen to know the platform, the expert who can give me the answer. So I turned to this platform called the Jinfinity, which I used a few years back. And then recently, because I knew I was facing a lot of challenges in life and work, and also I know this advancement in this field has been keep developing. So I did another test. This is in late July, and unfortunately, my cellular level of the NAD turned out to be severely deficient. It's very low. So as you can see in the inside of the red dots is my intracellular NAD level, which is 17.1 micromolar, which in the lab Jinfinity have a very nice way to match that with what does it really mean. And this level is alarmingly low for especially the stage of my life. So I need to do something about it. And Jinfinity has a very good quality solution. It's a compound which is proven clinically and in many, many cases for consumers that it helped to restore their NAD level. So I gave a try, and also I happen to know the inventor of this whole system, and I called Dr. She, who will be our speaker today. So in my case, I'm very deficient. How do I restore my NAD safely and quickly? And he gave me specific instructions, and then I followed that faithfully. In just a short less than 6 weeks, I did my NAD testing with him with Jinfinity again, and as I showed you here, I'm in the optimal range, which makes me very happy. And then personally, I can already feel, even before I did the test, the effects on my health and wellness. So without further ado, it is really my pleasure to invite back the top scientist in the cellular aging field. In our field, we call him the NAD King. So Dr. Jin-Xiong, if you're online, hi, how are you? Good. Welcome back.
Thank you. Nice to be back again.
How have you been? I know the hurricane impacted your business and life to a certain degree.
We haven't recovered, fortunately, but we just had a power outage this morning, and I was a little worried. Now we got the power, we got the internet, so I can give my presentation.
We're lucky. We're lucky to have you. I'm lucky to have you today. So thank you for making time. I know you're very, very wanted everywhere. I know you're going to one of the leading platforms to give your presentation to probably tens of thousands of people in December. So have fun there. And please, we already started this really keen discussion for cellular aging around your expertise back in August. I'm so glad that we are coming together again to hear further about possibly NAD and its benefits. I shared my own small story, and you probably have more use cases to share with our GenoPilot members. So please take it away.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone, and my talk is going to be squarely focused on a coenzyme that Shirley talked a little bit about, and this coenzyme is called NAD. Now, the take-home messages here is on the title of my talk, and there are a few keywords here. The first one is NAD, and then the next one is optimization. And I will discuss, I will try to answer a few important questions on this topic. And here are the four main questions that I will try to address today. The first one is, what's NAD? And then why NAD is so important to health and longevity? And what are the best ways that one can use to optimize their NAD levels? And finally, and we'll hopefully address the question whether everyone should get their NAD optimized and why, and what kind of benefits you may get from optimized NAD levels. And Shirley showed this slide and talked a little bit about the NAD molecule, and this is what we call a coenzyme. A coenzyme is a small molecule that is essential to the function of other enzymes. So why NAD is so important? Well, that's because the function of over 500 different enzymes require the help of NAD for them to function properly. Without NAD, these enzymes wouldn't function, and the cells wouldn't function properly, and we probably wouldn't have a healthy life. So, because NAD is involved in so many enzymes, what are the most important functions of this molecule? The first function, and probably the most important function of the NAD coenzyme, is the production of cellular energy. And cellular energy is in the form of ATP. You may have heard of this term. If you have not, and ATP is basically the molecule that provide your cells, especially your muscle, your heart, and your brain, the energy they need to function. Is very similar to the gasoline of your engine. If you don't have gasoline, your engine wouldn't work, your car wouldn't move, and if you don't have ATP, your cells wouldn't function, and your body wouldn't be able to move. So that's the best analogy I can give you. So ATP is very important. It's probably the number one, maybe number two, at least in the top, one of the top three most important molecules in life. And ATP, water, and probably NAD are the top three essential molecules for all life on Earth. Now, what's really important is ATP is primarily produced in a cellular organelle called mitochondria. What's a mitochondria? mitochondria is basically the power plant of your cells, or power plants, because there are thousands or tens of thousands of mitochondria in each cell. The only main function of the mitochondria is to produce ATP. And as you can see on this slide, over 90% of the ATP is produced inside of the mitochondria. So without the mitochondria, we wouldn't be able to produce enough energy. However, the production of ATP in the mitochondria is really dependent on the presence of NAD. Without NAD, the mitochondria wouldn't function, wouldn't be able to produce ATP. So that's the number one function of NAD. Without NAD, we wouldn't have ATP. Without ATP, we cannot survive for more than a few minutes. That's how essential it is. On top of this very important function, NAD is also involved in over 500 other important cellular processes. Many of these cellular processes is important for health and longevity. And some of the important ones are listed here, like controlling of inflammation, repair the damage of the DNA so you don't get cancer, and how well you can sleep. The genes that control our sleep, the sleeping cycle, is actually controlled by the NAD molecule. So I can stay here and go through all 500 different important functions, but you get the point. The point is NAD is really essential to our life and to our health and longevity. So what are the potential signs of NAD deficiency? And some of them are listed here. The number one sign of NAD deficiency is chronic fatigue or lack of energy. I think many people, many adults in their 40s, 50s, and beyond may feel less energy in the afternoons or in the evenings because they have worked very hard for the day. They need more energy, and usually this is a sign of NAD deficiency. And subpar performance, we may not perform in our 50s and 60s as well as in our 20s. And that's partly due to NAD decline with age as well. Our brain may not function as well as when we were younger, and we may have brain fog. We may have these issues are likely associated with NAD deficiency as well. And we talk about sleeping issues, but overall, poor health or the presence of diseases, especially age-related diseases, are all related to NAD deficiency. But very often, you may not have obvious signs when your NAD level is already not at the optimum range. So even if you don't feel any health issues, your NAD may not be optimum at a certain age. So I'll show you data how the NAD level actually declines with age later in my talk. So before that, I want to give you my approach to get NAD optimized, to give you more energy, and to give you better performance. And this program is called TAO, or TAO. And the TAO really summarizes a program that is really important to me and to many people to optimize their health and longevity program. So this is a three-step process that's called test, act, and optimize. We use the testing information to identify deficiencies or abnormalities that are present in an individual. Now, we all have different genetics, and we all have different biochemistry, and we are all different in the deficiencies and abnormalities that we may have. Being able to identify the precise deficiencies or abnormalities is the first critical step for us to take personalized and precision actions. And the second important application of a biomarker testing is to evaluate the efficacy or lack of efficacy of any interventions that one might take. In this case, we're talking about NAD. If you take a NAD product, a supplement, or some other strategies, you really want to know whether the program you are engaged in is actually providing you the benefit that you wanted. Without the testing, it's very, very hard to do. And finally, we can use the testing information to adjust the dosage and also to optimize or fine-tune the intervention program that you want to get engaged in. So testing is really important and is the cornerstone of our longevity program. Without testing, we don't have data, we wouldn't be able to act very precisely. Now for the last 3 decades or even longer, scientists and medical professionals realized the importance of testing NAD levels. Unfortunately, for a long period of time, until about 5 years ago, no one was able to test NAD levels in large numbers of patients or consumers. And there are many reasons for that. And the number one reason is that NAD is not very stable. So you really have to solve the problem of stability. You have to come up with a very reproducible assay, and many of the issues associated with clinical testing are also apply to NAD testing. That's why for a long time we did not have a NAD test on the market. Fortunately, my team worked very hard on the problem, and we were able to come up with a very simple and affordable test that allows doctors and the patients to evaluate their NAD levels at baseline and also after interventions. This is a very simple finger prick. It's a blood test. You make a dried blood spots with a finger prick blood, and you can mail it back to our laboratory, and you will get the results within a few days. And you can do it at home, or you can do it in your doctor's office. So the development of this test has really revolutionized how we view NAD, how we can apply NAD optimization program to help people extend their health span and lifespan, and also solve many medical issues. Without bothering you too much on technical details, and this graph shows how reproducible the assay is. And if you are a medical professional, you may want to know it, but as a consumer, take my words, and the test works. It works as well as any other medical tests that are offered in clinical laboratories. And you can see here, the NAD level is relatively stable over a short period of time. We'll know in long-term basis, and the NAD levels tend to decline. But over a short period of time, it's quite stable. And that's important because you don't have to test NAD levels, very, very frequently. And that's the good news I want to share with you. Okay. A very important question for any biomarker testing program is, what levels are normal, or to me, is actually better to have an optimal range. Now, there's a difference between a normal and an optimal. And normal is what you would normally see in a population. Optimal levels are what you would want to have ideally, what would give you the best health benefits. So, what's normal may not be optimal. And you really want your biomarkers to be in the optimum level so you can optimize your health and your longevity. And that's a pretty important point. And that's not only important for NAD, but important for any of the biomarker testing, wherever that you do it. So for NAD, we have done extensive studies. And what you see here on this slide is the distribution of NAD levels in a very young population, in a teenager group. What we have seen is that 75% of teenagers have NAD levels greater than 40 micromolar. And this is one of the two sets of data that we use to define the optimum range for NAD. The second set of data that we have is at what NAD level people start experiencing noticeable and significant health benefits. And interestingly, for the vast majority of people that we have studied, and they started experiencing health benefits when their NAD level become 40 micromolar or higher. So you really want to get your NAD above this threshold. And also, we have data to show that when the NAD level is too high, and it can potentially cause harm. So the optimum range that we define is between 40 and 100. And this is a somewhat moving target. As we accumulate more data, and this range can be fine-tuned. For example, I know now that for most people, you want to get your NAD levels to the 50s, 60s, and 70s. That's really the sweet spot that you want your NAD levels to be in. So, after we studied tens of thousands of people, and we put the NAD values into 5 different categories, that from severely deficient to deficient, suboptimal, optimal, and too high. And you can see the ranges associated with each category here. You don't have to remember this, and if you are interested, and we'll explain to you in the report. Now, this is the largest data set where we see age-dependent decline of NAD levels. I have already explained that in the teenagers, 75% of them have NAD levels above 40. As you can see in the 20 to 30 year group, only about 25% of them have optimum NAD. And as the age increases, and fewer individuals have optimal NAD level. It was really a huge surprise initially to us how fast and how soon the NAD levels can decline. In the past, before we were able to test large numbers of individuals, most people believe that NAD levels should be relatively normal, and in individuals younger than 50 or so, but that's actually not true. And we started seeing a large proportion, about 75% of individuals in the 20 to 30 group that are already deficient in NAD. And even in the teenagers, about 25% of them are deficient in NAD. So NAD deficiency is a much bigger problem than anyone has imagined before we were able to analyze large numbers of samples. And that's very important to remember that many people are actually deficient in NAD and probably need help and can benefit from optimized NAD levels. Fortunately, there are potentially a number of different ways that one can consider to optimize their NAD levels. I put all the different solutions into 4 categories. You don't have to remember them all because it's kind of we'll have to dive into the science quite a bit for you to understand. And the bottom line is there are potentially many ways, and there are many different products on the market, and you want to choose very carefully and wisely, and you probably want to use the test to find out whether any product is actually working for you or not. And I will show you some of the data that we have. I will start with the most effective product that's on the market now. And I'm not, it happens to be my product, but I'm not trying to tell you to use my product. If you find a better one, by all means, use the best product that you can find. But you really have to use the test and also how you feel physically and physiologically to identify the best product for you. And I can tell you that for the vast majority of the individuals in the population, you probably need to increase your NAD level by 100% or more. And that's what we have shown in this clinical trial. As you can see on the chart on the left, the 2 lower bar charts are the baseline data without any supplementation. And then if you look at the third chart, that's NAD levels after 2 weeks of supplementation with this particular NMN formulation. So on average, the NAD levels increased by over 100%, and in the next 2 weeks, the levels continue to go up a little bit, but not dramatic, not very, very much at all. So we really only need about 2 weeks to get the NAD levels increase. Some customers wait for months and months to retest their NAD after supplementation, and you really don't want to wait. You want to figure out the optimum dosage for you by testing pretty early in the process. Otherwise, you would be wasting your time and your money, and if you are not using the right product or right dosage. So we can optimize, we can increase NAD levels very effectively if we can find the right product for each person. And we know we can do it for at least 90% of the customers who come to us. Now, and that was in the previous slide was a clinical trial. And now I want to show you the actual data in a clinic. This is Dr. Delaney's clinic, and he's an integrative cardiologist in the Boston area. And he takes care of patients with heart problems. And as you can see, with the product we have, they're called Vitality Boost, and the NAD levels in the vast majority of patients go up very quickly, and they are getting great benefits from the treatment. And another point that I want to show you is you will see a lot of NMN or NR product on the market. I want to show you the difference between a pure NMN that's in yellow, and the red bars are the baseline. If you compare the red and the yellow, you can see that NMN can elevate NAD levels, but pure NMN just does not increase the levels high enough to take people to the optimum range. While the Vitality Boost, the formulation with multiple ingredients, can do a much better job. This is actual data from a clinic in Orlando, Dr. Lee's, Edwin Lee's clinic in Orlando. You may have heard NAD intravenous infusion, and you see IV infusion clinics popping up in every corner of the street. It's becoming extremely popular, and the infusion of NAD is also being pushed by a lot of celebrities, and I don't have to mention the names. You probably know many of them, the Kardashians, for example. But the clinical trials we have conducted actually show that NAD IV does not increase intracellular NAD at all. So here are the data before and after 5 sessions of NAD IV. That's the best NAD IV protocol, and it's very intensive one. 5 sessions of 750 milligrams is a lot of NAD to infuse. But even with these very intense IV protocol, you don't see any significant increase of NAD inside the cells after 5 sessions of infusion. That's what's really alarming, and we're trying to publish this data so people have the information available. How about in the same group of customers who have received NAD IV and did not get their NAD up? What happens if we give them the NMN formulation? And that's in green. You can see in 9 out of 10 patients, the NAD is optimized greater than 40. In the last one, it also has a significant increase. After adjusting the dosage, we were able to get these customers' NAD into the optimum range as well. So the oral supplementation with NAD precursor, especially NMN, is a highly effective way of optimizing NAD levels. So very quickly, I'll run through a few other modalities. Subcutaneous injection or intramuscular injection of NAD is being marketed to customers as well. And how does it work? Well, here is one example, and this is the medical director of a company that's selling subcutaneous NAD. I'm not going to say which company. As you can see, his NAD level at baseline was about 30, and then after injection, it was increased a little bit, but it did not go high enough. And here are 5 other customers that they have. Their levels are all between 30 and 40, and I know the injection have boosted the NAD levels a little bit, but again, it's not high enough. Either they can increase the dosage or under the frequency of injection, or you can use another much easier, cheaper, and more convenient way of getting NAD up. That's oral supplementation of NAD precursor. You can see the same 5 individuals, and with subcutaneous injection versus the oral supplement of NAD precursors in green, and the subQ is in blue. All right. So here are some of the choices, and there are other supplements that are being marketed as NAD product. Nicotinamide is another one. Nicotinamide can only increase NAD level by about 10%. This is the published data, and we also have a clinical trial that we conducted for a company that's marketing the nicotinamide supplement. And niacin is another supplement, and niacin is actually a FDA-approved drug to lower cholesterol level. And so niacin actually is a highly potent compound that can increase NAD levels in some individuals. And unfortunately, it increases NAD levels so much that is in the harmful range. That's the first thing. So the take-home message here is, if you are taking niacin to treat cholesterol levels, you really want to test your NAD level, because you don't want it to be high. We have a number of individuals who were taking niacin, got their NAD to a very high levels, but they don't seem to get any benefits. And the word of caution for niacin is niacin can effectively reduce cholesterol, but it doesn't seem to provide a lot of benefit for cardiovascular health. And that's a very large and intense topic of conversation. Maybe we'll come back and talk about next time. All right, so, and I want to emphasize that optimization is really important for NAD and many other biomarkers, and the only way that you can optimize is through testing. And this is an example that I usually use to illustrate how we can do it. This is a 68-year-old lady who happened to be my babysitter a few years ago. And her NAD level was highly deficient at the beginning. It's the first dot on the chart at the bottom. And then we put her on a few NAD supplements on the market. We tried 3 different ones. Nothing worked for her. And that's actually when we decided to formulate our own supplement. Once we finished our supplement formulation, and her levels went through the roof, went to 168 micromolar, 158 micromolar. That's the first blue dot on the chart. That's way, way too high. So we had to decrease the dosage for her, and then gradually bring her down into the green zone, and that's between 40 and 100 micromolar. And we got her to 50, 60 micromolar, and she's in that range for the last few years. And she obviously got a lot of health benefit from the optimized NAD level. So testing is really important to find out what you are in the optimum zone for NAD and for other biomarkers. This is another example that he decided to escalate the amount of supplement from a highly low dosage of 100 milligram of NMN, and because he wanted to find out how it works. Well, we didn't, and we had to escalate all the way to about 2,000 milligrams to get his NAD level optimized. In the previous example with my babysitter, and she only need 500 milligrams. At 1,000 milligrams, her NAD level went to 158 micromolar. But for this individual, he needs 2,000 milligrams to get him to the green zone. So everyone is different and may need a different dosage of the supplement for to get his or her NAD in the optimum zone. That's why testing is so essential. And so I'm going to skip this slide because it's complicated. So now I'm going to run through some other examples and what are the functional benefits. And if you get your NAD optimized, you can see the needs all the way from increased energy, better sleep, and improve the heart function. And I really want to tell you some surprising finding that just came out. Infertility is related to NAD deficiency. Heart failure is related to NAD deficiency and lack of energy. We can use NAD to cure asthma, and there are so many potential benefits that I will very quickly go through. And also overall, if you optimize your NAD, anything else that you do for health may work even better. That's what this slide is showing. I don't have time to really explain to you, but what I want you to think about is optimizing NAD not only provides you benefit from the NAD molecule itself, but it will make your other longevity initiative more effective, whether it's lifestyle changes or supplementation or nutritional changes. So get your NAD optimized is really the key first step. And my own personal experience, I was able to use it to cure my asthma, my sciatica, and my tennis game improved by more than 25 years. And I wouldn't allow anyone to take my NAD supplement away, not over my warm body. That's how strong I feel. And we can help a young athlete to improve their performance. And Cellular Barnes ranked number 16 in 100-meter sprint in 2023, and she started working with us in 2024, and she moved to number 3 in 2024. So she really loves what we have. This is ultra endurance athlete, and he was the first one to know about from Hawaii to Australia, and he was in the sea for 4 months and without help, and it's incredible story. And he created the NAD product to prepare him for this unbelievable mission. And marathon runners can benefit from optimized NAD. and people with autoimmune diseases like Maya, and she tried everything on the market. She was not able to get much help, and this is the first product that really was able to give her more energy and reduce her autoimmune symptoms. And how about autism? Corbin, a 2-year-old baby boy, and he started taking the product and got a lot of benefits from it. Parkinson's disease, again, this is a 75-year-old woman and with Parkinson's disease, and she was able to get a lot of benefit from it. This is my favorite story, my baby in the wheel story, and this is an 18-month-old actual baby boy, as typo here, in Turkey, and he fell into a well, unfortunately, and got into coma for 6 months. And his doctors tried everything, nothing worked, and she was in coma. And then the doctor decided to put him on our product. After a few days, he started moving his eyes and hands. After about 3 weeks, he was able to walk again. And now, after a year, he's a perfectly normal boy and doing what 2 years, 3-year-old boys are doing. And great story that I'm so happy about. Finally, I want to show you this person, Brian Johnson, who is in the news all the time now. He's the most famous biohacker in the world, spending $2 million or more on his own longevity program every year. And I started working with him about 4 years ago, and we help him on testing and supplementation, and I'm so happy to be part of his longevity program, and he's having such an impact on how the field is moving forward. And these are all the slides I want to share with you, and I hope that I provided some useful information. And if you have additional questions and you know how to get in contact with Shirley and General Pennant, and here are my contact information. Don't hesitate to reach out to Shirley and her group, and I'm here to answer questions you may have as well.
Brilliant presentation as always. Every time I learn something new from you when I hear you talk, Jin-Xiong. So really appreciate all the insights from scientific background, use cases. How do we apply this really wonderful, it should be a new vitamin, NAD molecule, but there's so much about it to your many cases you show. There's individualized sensitivity issue, there's optimization range and speed, and and then there's different ways to injection, supplements. Maybe there's a natural way to stimulate if people don't want to take supplements. There's so much to know, but you have done such an important foundational work for the field, and I really appreciate everything you shared today.
My pleasure.
So I have one question because we're running out of time, but we will hang in here, and anyone has questions, please send your questions in the Q&A or the chat box, and we'll try to Dr. She will stay here for a few minutes to answer all of your great questions. My question is, since you know my story, I share that with today's our community. I was lucky after knowing, this personal sensitivity can be so vast, and I was from very low to optimal. Obviously, sounds like I can still use a little bit more.
In your case, I would increase the dosage by about 20%. So okay. I really want to get you to the 50s and even 60s. My levels is 65 plus minus 5 all the time for the last few years. Unless I want to do an experiment and stop it, right? I did a lot of that at the beginning. Now I don't want to let my NAD to go down anymore.
Knowing everything about it, how could you?
I want to keep it here. I continue to test the other important molecules and functions, but I'm now going to allow my NAD to go down because my personal goal is to be able to play tennis at 100 and beyond, and allowing my NAD to go down all the time, and that's not the right way to do it. So I'm not going to change this parameter.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll reach out to your team to optimize my even further. One question I have
just increase the dosage by 20 to 30%. It's a powder, so you can just scoop a little more. That's all you need.
It's very easy to implement, adding to my GenoPilot nutrition regimen, by the way. One question I have is how often you think an individual like myself should take your test again?
Well, the test, initially you want to get the levels optimized to find the optimum dosage for you. For most people, you take only two tests. Ideally, you want to have a baseline. But baseline is not absolutely essential. Okay, if you don't want to spend the money on testing, I understand. But it's nice to know your baseline, so you know how much improvement you have had. But if you don't want to do a baseline test, I understand. I'm okay, no problem. What I must emphasize is if you are interested in NAD, you want to get your NAD optimized after intervention, you must test. Otherwise, you don't know. So you may be okay. You may not be sufficient. It may be too high. So get a test after treatment, so you can find out what works, what's the optimum dosage, and once you get your NAD optimized, and the NAD levels are not going to fluctuate very much unless you change the product or the dosage, or you have a major health condition change. And I would say, retest every 6 months or so after optimization.
Okay, 6
even
months.
Even a yearly basis is fine. So
twice a year, yearly. Yeah. We have some questions. Can you try to answer some of them?
Yeah. Okay. So, how come is NAD testing? I think well, unfortunately, most primary providers don't know about NAD. If you are saying functional medicine or integrative medicine doctors, they may know a little bit. Frankly, they will come to me, and I'm working with over 1,000 primary doctors, mostly in the private sector, not in the hospitals. And doctors in the hospitals, they are not paying much attention to the new advancement, and they don't know very much about it. But tell your doctor to contact me, and I will get them educated, and they can use their judgment to figure out, whether I make any sense or not. And I help many doctors to set up their anti-aging functional medicine clinics. So I'll be happy to work with yours as well.
Or directly work with Gfinity.
Right? Or directly work with Gfinity, either way. And so, yeah, we'll be happy to work with you directly, and GenoPilot, and we have a discount coupon for all GenoPilot members, and the discount code is the company's name, GenoPilot. And
thank you.
Yeah, when you come to the Jinfinity website and at checkout, enter the code, you will receive 10% discount. So there's a question about TSH. NAD is actually known to improve thyroid function. It can potentially help improve TSH. There isn't enough data to know for sure, and we'll be happy to work with you. I do know there are data showing that NAD product can improve thyroid function.
Mm-hmm. Good question. All right. We can always follow up. And then, Jin-Xiong, I know you graciously agreed to come back again in December. We're gonna not taking break this time. Hopefully, no natural disaster.
Let's do it.
Yeah, early. Before, I know you're busy in December, but I think we have a time set for the 10th and the 11th.
Yeah,
I'll send out the invitation, and I can't wait to talk to you about NAD, cellular aging, especially about brain health.
Yeah, we can talk about that. I was thinking maybe we can talk about two other important inflammation and senescence, and
Perfect.
that could be very interesting because both inflammation and senescence are key root causes of aging-related diseases. We can talk to individual customers and members and about NAD and dive into the details. But maybe inflammation and senescence can be a very important topic. That's absolutely essential for anyone who's trying to improve health.
Yes, that's brilliant. Okay, let's do that. So everyone, watch out for the invitation to the next presentation where we'll have Jin-Xiong come back and dive in. Thank you for the presentation, and thank you for the providing an easy access. Use the code when you want to try the NAD test and then supplements everything. I think you're gonna get a special treatment if you do. And that's conclude today's program. Thank you all for making the time out of your precious day, and I hope you stay healthy. It's a winter time, and enjoy the holiday season and stay well. See you next time.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.